The strongest gale, the softest breeze, blows in the swamp just as you please. Amazing, so wonderful. An acorn becomes a mighty tree, the way you designed it to be. Amazing, so wonderful. Fish in the water, birds in the sky, each at home, below or on high. Amazing, so wonderful. You made the roaring bullfrog and the roaring wild feral hog. Amazing, so wonderful. But in your image you made me, a child of God. How can this be? Amazing, you're wonderful.
Hi there, I'm Susan, and today I'm out in my swamp. I'm on a trail that I have walked almost every morning for the last decade.
Every day here I see something that is fascinating or even thrilling. Strange bugs and big fishing birds, wild flowers, wild animals. My time out here has really inspired me to write some poems and just try to express in words what I get to see every day. And so we'll stop along the way and I'll read a few of my poems.
I'm out on the trail. This trail it was built on top of an old levee on a rice plantation that was built a couple hundred years ago. There are hand-dug canals and creeks on both sides. It's a beautiful area, but it is now reverted back to swampland, and it's a great place to see alligators and snakes and all kinds of wildlife and plants out here in different seasons. Well, this time of year is a threshold between winter and spring. Change is coming. Creation is about to transform. Right now, the landscape is muted, but soon there'll be leaves on the trees and the sawgrass will turn green. We know spring is coming. God promised Noah that seed time and harvest would never cease, so we just wait expectantly. I never know when exactly spring is coming. One day it might be cool and breezy and cloudy. The next day, like today, it's almost 70 degrees, almost closer to 80 degrees, warm, sunny. So we'll just continue to walk along the trail and see what signs of spring we can find. Here's a sign of spring. These are yellow jasmine flowers. They're a vine, and sometimes they grow really high in the top of trees. This one happens to be close to the ground, so we can get a good look at it. They're beautiful, and they smell really nice too. So this is one of the first flowers that bloom in the spring here in the swamp. There's some aquatic flowers that are starting to bloom too, just beginning. And in the next month there's going to be just color everywhere. It's a really sunny day today, so I'm keeping an eye out for snakes. This is the time of year when they've come out of their brumation to bask and hunt after a long winter. We have a lot of big water snakes here, so while I read my poem, I'm watching out where I'm standing. This poem is about the season we're in, this threshold between winter and spring. It's called Springing from Winter. No longer winter, but not yet spring. There's subtle stirring and whispering. All creation teeters on a verge where yesterday and tomorrow merge. Centrum of what was and what will be. Now seasonal liminality. Spring advances with a gentle nudge. Winter relents and begins to budge. Well, here we are on top of a bird observation deck, looking out on a prairie of sawgrass. It's not really a grass, but it's a sedge. And it can grow up to 10 feet tall. The ducks and the geese will eat the seeds. Fishing birds will come at low tide and fish for crabs or small little fish. The red-winged blackbirds make nests inside the grass. And at low tide, you can see alligators and big pond slider turtles basking on the bank. I love to just stand here and watch the wind blow, and I've really come to enjoy the subtle beauty of it all. And I've been inspired from up here to write a few poems about this season of the year. Like a sailor in his crow's nest, I scan the vast and open sea, and from the observation deck, survey the waving scenery. A sea of grass waving in the wind, amber masts with rusty crowns, tall spikes reaching toward the sky, dressed not in summer greens, but winter browns. Dry sawgrass rustles in the breeze, a gentle, soothing, lovely sound. Wind of nature, breath of nature's God. It's peaceful, primal, and profound. Sun smiles warmly upon my face, sweet hint that spring is in the air. Winter flaps its molting wings to fly, and I sigh deeply, lifting up a prayer. If I could paint a vivid word picture, capture the wonder and movement of the wind, that would be my favorite swamp story. I thrill at the acres of tall golden stalks, prairie land of sawgrass waving and swaying, dancing before God, declaring His glory. Love the outstretched branches of the cypress trees hanging heavy with silver Spanish mosses, which soar and fall in a marvelous display. Pine needles blurring, quivering in the breeze, palms flapping, fluttering, tall live oaks bowing, ferns and small flowers nodding as if to pray. I linger as I search the muted landscape, though no bird is flying, no critter crawling. I delight to stand still and watch the wind blow. The living greenery of God's creation only moves by the force and whim of the wind, just as we move by the Holy Spirit's flow. We're just a few days from the first day of Nisan, the first month of the Jewish calendar, and then the spring equinox, first day of spring, happens just a few days after that. Here's another early blooming flower. Here we are in my backyard. We live on a tidal creek, and there are lots of alligators swimming in the creek. Sometimes they come right up on the lawn to bask in the sun.
Here is one of my poems inspired by the alligators.
It's called Here Be Dragons. Don't mean to be braggin', but there lives a dragon outside of my very own door. He's been there all season, and I know the reason. The winter he wants to ignore. For he is cold-blooded, and my creek is studded with spots for his cold weather lair. But now bees are humming, which means spring is coming, and he's fed up with solitaire. His roars I'll be hearing, and they'll sound endearing to the one he wants to attract. But to win his sweet prize, he must first terrorize his rivals in vicious attack. When the fighting is done and the courting's begun, Mrs. Dragon will lay her eggs. She will work hard to fix her immense nest of sticks and will guard it from hungry the eggs. 60 days she will wait, patiently incubate, then 40 babies she will birth. In a safe atmosphere they'll grow a foot a year and greatly multiply their girth. They like to hunt at night, wait for the right size bite, snake, mouse, rabbit, bird, or otter. And often in the day, if they spot favored prey, they'll stalk their quarry in water. Sweeping tail, masterful, jaws and claws, powerful, not any real competitors. Tiny brains, zero fears, can live for 50 years, have only human predators. Largest U.S. reptile besides the crocodile, primordial living treasure, and like their ancient kin, this huge Leviathan was made for God's good pleasure.
My swamp trail is just across the creek and a stone's throw from my backyard. It's actually part of the state coastal birding trail, and I see dozens and dozens of species of birds. This time of year, we have so many songbirds, and they seem to serenade me from the treetops. And I love the woodpeckers because they add the percussion part of the orchestra. Now, besides the songbirds, there are birds of prey like eagles and hawks. They soar really high on the warm thermals as they hunt for some of these small mammals. With so many vultures. Vultures are actually birds that play an ecological role. They're scavengers and they eat animals that have died, so they're a good thing. I just love to watch the tall wading birds. They are so patient as they wait to catch fish and crabs in the creeks and the ponds. And then we have large swimming birds like anhingas and cormorants that dive and chase fish underwater, and then they have to surface to eat their large catch and then go bask in the sun to dry out their wings. I'd love to soar into the wild blue above the swamp, have a bird's eye view, chase white clouds on a gusty breeze, see new leaves on the top of trees. Share the sky with eagles and hawks. Wave to fiddler crabs crawling on rocks. Watch a gator stalking his prey, camouflaged in the miry clay. Inspect a songbird's downy nest, or leafy dray where squirrels rest. Spot the prize a fishing bird caught. Spy a turtle's egg-laying spot. Follow the creeks out to the sea. Admire the changing scenery. Oh, the high praises I would sing for lofty views of the coming spring. God made the armadillo, as funny as can be. With those beady little eyes, however does he see? Balances with long, strong tail to stand on short hind legs, to sniff out lizards, worms, and snakes, toads, termites, turtle eggs. His pig-like nose helps to forage for fruits and grass and plants. Long, sharp claws help him to dig insects, grubs, and fire ants. Belly soft with some sparse hairs, his back has plates of bone, overlapping armor, hard and heavy like a stone. This 3-mile trail, or 4.8-kilometer trail, and surrounding swamp is a microcosm of God's creation. Here, the animal kingdom is represented with fish and frogs, snakes, lizards, and alligators, birds, butterflies, and bunnies. I've photographed over 100 species of mushrooms, as well as dozens of aquatic plants and wildflowers. The beauty of nature is, in part, a reflection of the Creator's glory. Our experience with His creation is so profound that it's hard to fully convey its mystery. But this place really inspires me to try to capture in poetic words what I am so blessed to see.